Welcome back to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video, I'll be going over the 10 stages of a HAKUDA player. If you enjoy, subscribe, since only about 20% of the people watching right now are actually subscribed. And also, I'm live on Twitch right now as of this video coming out, so go check me out on there, and let's get into it. Recently getting into Type Soul, the new guy will often begin with no real understanding of what build they want to go. The faction they go doesn't really matter, but a lot of the people newly starting out are just Bleach fans, which is why most of them go Reaconteur or Soul Reaper, because they either like Ichigo or one of the Espadas, usually Ulquiorra, Stark, or Holibel, but you're a freak. The newer player will often start experimenting with new builds in Stage 2. This means a lot of gambling for better Shikais or partial reses, and a lot of blue pilling to find out what works. A lot of the time they pretty much just end up playing Speed or Kendo because they're the easiest trees, but they don't really get very good at it and usually just end up staying out of ranked because they get slammed by any half-decent player or anyone who metamances and build carries. The soon-to-be HAKUDA player will start to become angry during Stage 3, and mostly at other HAKUDA users. A lot of the time people end up quitting the game at this stage due to the fact that they can't really commit to learning a single build and getting good at the game, because it just takes a bit too much effort. They also don't want to progress the advanced stuff like Bankai or True Resurrection, and then True Variant Transformation, so many people who quit here are just lazy. Those who don't quit here will move on to the next stage. In Stage 3.5, this is basically anyone who goes onto HAKUDA because they're copying a YouTuber's build. Technically, this also accounts for people using my build, even though it's mostly speed, but many of you probably saw a Mitsuri video and decided to use his HAKUDA build because you thought it looked fun. A lot of people in this stage also start wearing thigh highs, which, yeah, you deserve to get banned, because you really spent $10 to get a CC token, so that way you could wear thigh highs and fishnets in a Roblox game, and I don't like you. After getting tired of losing the HAKUDA users, you begin to join the side of the HAKUDA users in Stage 4. Many people will complain in general chat of the Type Soul Discord, but then they realize their cries will always go unheard of, and they decide to switch to what they once hated, HAKUDA. Usually at this stage, they just go full HAKUDA without trying to attempt better builds like Shunko, or even learn anything else, because if they're losing the HAKUDA, it's probably pretty good, or you know, they're just really bad, but they don't know that yet. This is the build carried stage. Not everyone goes through this, and actually all of the half stages are kind of optional and they're often skipped over, but a lot of people have higher level friends and connections and are able to max out their builds and get skill boxes and essences. This usually manifests as either a Shunko or full HAKUDA or Reaconteur build with Crazed Blitz, Shori, Death Flare, or sometimes Gehenna instead of Shori, True Variants, and any spammable partial mode like Wind or Light, because they're just really strong. These players usually don't attempt to improve beyond pressing 1 through 5 on their keyboard and spamming Crazed Blitz whenever it's off cooldown because it's unavoidable and free. They're usually only going to win against players who aren't very good, and will often win against people who can't fight HAKUDA anyway because, well, they can't fight HAKUDA. These players are really just the definition of build carried, and if you're half decent at the game, you really shouldn't be losing the people who are in this stage. Stage 5 is the stage when a HAKUDA players will realize what they truly are. A dirty HAKUDA playing piece of who loves to spam, and basically they finally accepted that they are what is wrong with this game. They became what they once hated and accept that. They now use just parry as an argument when someone complains about HAKUDA. They abuse projectile Shori confirms, and they still say just parry even though you literally can't, and they even know how to Crazed Blitz into Toro Reach properly. I know that doesn't sound hard, and it isn't, but somehow 90% of HAKUDA players still manage to miss it, which is honestly impressive. Stage 5.5 really only goes for Shunko users. This is the self-hating stage. This is when a Shunko user starts to get beaten by full HAKUDA users due to spine rend, and then they begin to hate HAKUDA again. The funny thing is, Shunko is a better matchup against everything in the game except for HAKUDA full when compared to HAKUDA. This lack of spine rend ends up with Shunko users getting their combos stolen by HAKUDA users, so landing basically any move that starts into a combo results in them getting punished for it. This often makes Shunko users quit Shunko and go back to their roots of full HAKUDA, and those who don't dodge every full HAKUDA player that they find will probably end up staying on Shunko and learning to, counter it, because it's really not that hard, you just gotta bait out the spine rend. But they're really still learning HAKUDA at this stage, so they don't know that just yet. Stage 6 is the denial stage of HAKUDA players, where they switch up their builds into things that aren't full HAKUDA. Most HAKUDA players can't fully give it up because they're so used to the weapon, and this results in people going builds similar to mine, such as 15 HAKUDA and 50 speed. Others will go things like 25 HAKUDA, 40 speed without Shunko, as an Reaconteur, or even just completely leave HAKUDA for a while because they're tired of the hate it brings. Everyone hates HAKUDA and they're tired of getting hate, which is why they often temporarily quit HAKUDA. Most of these people will go the other meta build of, 40 speed, 25 Kendo, and then they'll just spam Rising Swallow into everything that they have, but they don't like it. You wanna know why? Because they're still build carried, except now they're even worse, which is why they will often move into the next stage if they ever go back to HAKUDA. At this point in Stage 7, the HAKUDA user has realized that they don't care what everyone thinks. It doesn't matter if people hate you if you can beat them in a 1v1, and the only people who can beat you are other HAKUDA users, so clearly it has to be the apex skill tree in the game. Through this realization, the HAKUDA user has returned to their roots and gone back to either Shunko or full HAKUDA, and they refuse to use anything else until it gets reworked. If you're a Quincy, you don't really count because, Quincy's are weird, but they're probably still using full HAKUDA anyway, and they're probably using the Songdo clause, because you can just stun people for 5 seconds at a time. Most Quincy's actually go back to this stage and will switch from Warden to the clause, which is strange because everyone would think that, oh, the Warden's better because it combo extends, but then people realize that they actually like the clause way more. With the HAKUDA grounded rework currently being worked on, many HAKUDA players are currently going through Stage 8, experiencing impending doom. Once the rework comes out, HAKUDA will never be the same, and because of this, it is likely that they might stop enjoying HAKUDA as it is. This demotivates some and causes many people to try experimenting with new builds so they won't have to learn new HAKUDA once it's reworked. Others use this as an excuse to play as much as possible so they can enjoy HAKUDA as it is until it's reworked, as they're still in denial of this rework happening, and they are still very upset about it. Not everyone goes through this stage, and some have already accepted it, but those who haven't accepted it will stay here until the rework comes out, and those who have accepted it will move on to Stage 9. At this point, Stage 9, the HAKUDA player has accepted everything. They've accepted the fact that they main HAKUDA. They've accepted the fact that HAKUDA will be getting reworked soon. They've accepted the fact that they will need to relearn HAKUDA, and they've accepted the fact that Craze Blitz probably carries them. Whether they use Shunko or a Reaconteur HAKUDA, it doesn't matter. Whether they use Quincy, it doesn't matter. They stomp on bad players and probably continue to struggle against Kendo users with essences because, Unseen Blade is just the most balanced move in the game. But they don't care anymore, because all they know is that they love HAKUDA, and they have embraced it completely. Stage 10 is the stage where HAKUDA users have mastered everything to do with HAKUDA. They've learned to abuse every little tiny, insignificant seeming piece of tech in HAKUDA's tree. They do things like Shori negation confirms. They're really good at actually mixing up players at this point instead of just spamming 1 through 9 on the keyboard. And they have these super high ranked arena win losses of like 85-1, and they're basically the reason why everyone thinks HAKUDA needs a nerf. Most HAKUDA users will never reach this stage, but those who do are guaranteed to be amazing at the game at this point because, you've got 6,000 hours in Type Soul, and 5,000 of them were spent on HAKUDA, and the other 1,000 were spent waiting in the ranked arena to get into a match because it glitches out half the time. At this point, you have truly become the master of HAKUDA, and you'll probably be just as good when it's reworked anyway. Stage 0.5 is the secret stage, but it actually happens before anything else on this list. the HAKUDA user will be born with no father, and then they will be lacking parental love, causing HAKUDA to call out to them from the beginning of the game. Many people who have completed stage 0.5 go straight from stage 0.5 to 10, and they will master HAKUDA and be crazy with it immediately. In fact, this almost seems like a prerequisite to reaching the mastery level of HAKUDA, because I have never seen a HAKUDA user who wasn't fatherless. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe and come into my Twitch stream. I love you all. Maybe I'll do a kendo video or something. I have no idea, honestly. I'll be ranking Deep Woken Drip this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so if you want to submit that, join my Discord. Goodbye. Have a great day. Buy YouTube membership if you want to hear me sing song covers every month, multiple times. I love you all. Have an amazing day, and goodbye.